This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Party live on a Trivia Thursday, and please excuse my eyes. I just did something really stupid, and again did something stupid. I put some lotion on my hands that kind of minty, and this menthol from the lotion. Then I touched my eye, and now my eyes totally sting. So if I look all weirder than normal, that's probably why. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me on the After Party Live on a Trivia Thursday. Love the Mark Thompson Show. Having Sarah Kendzior and David Katz on Thursdays is making it one of the best days of the week, I think, as far as the show goes. Saw this pop in from Scott Rittenberg. Oh, I'm clicking on it, Scott, and for whatever reason, there you go. He says, hey, y'all. Sorry, no super chat for too long. I wanted to do what I can for this amazing show when I can, to share the shorts too. Try to share the spacey stuff with my fellow Trekkies. Thanks for the show. Oh, thanks, Scott Rittenberg. I appreciate that. Really, really nice. Thank you for doing that. I know it's hard sometimes, you trying to pay for all the streaming services and donate to the shows. And I know it's a lot, but the show does need it. And the effort is appreciated. And thank you for that. I appreciate it. Also, for the folks that contribute via PayPal, and I know that the PayPal information is in the show description every day. It's also in the About tab. But yesterday, I forgot to go through and thank the folks that have contributed. And that includes West Theory from Today, throwing in another $5, Delette with a recurring PayPal contribution to the show, Sarah K, Karen K, and Carrie Q. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your efforts to help as well. All right, let's move forward with the show. And speaking of Scott talking about spacey things, I have that right off the bat, a spacey thing to talk about. There was what's considered to be a near-Earth asteroid. So when it comes within a certain distance from Earth, it's a near-Earth asteroid. And usually they know that these things are coming, right? They've got a handle on it. They know exactly how close it's going to come. They don't have to take any evasive measures, but they missed this one. International Space Agencies say an asteroid whipped past Earth closer than a large number of satellites currently in orbit, but it wasn't detected until hours after it passed us by. The European Space Agency said it was a 3 to 10 foot wide asteroid. It was picked up by radar last Wednesday, about 265 miles above Earth over Antarctica, near Earth's most southern point. It was an altitude similar to that of the International Space Station. So it was close, right? Tracking down a meter-scale object in the vast darkness of space at a time when its location is still uncertain is an impressive feat, according to the European Space Agency. They said the observation helped astronomers determine the close approach distance and time given above to such a high precision. The space satellites usually orbit at an altitude of between 100 to 1,000 or more miles out. The experts are saying this small space object, asteroid, likely didn't pose a large danger to Earth. It did have the ability to turn into a fireball if it hit Earth's atmosphere and transitioned into a meteorite. But it's concerning to me that it wasn't noted until after it already came close to Earth. And what if they weren't paying attention and it actually was bigger and it did hit us? There was an event in the summer of 2023, one of the closest ever recorded approaches by a near-Earth object. The America Space Agency, NASA, also said a large asteroid had a little more than 4% probability of striking the moon by the end of 2032. So we have to pay attention. This asteroid that whipped by us that we didn't see coming they say, is not likely to fly by the Earth again until about April of 2087. So about 62 years from now, this thing is coming back around. It's called Asteroid 2025 TF. Yeah, we can do a better job next time. Thanks, NASA. Yesterday, speaking of spacey stuff, we talked about this object, this interstellar object, 31 Atlas. And apparently, there's all kinds of scuttlebutt. Here's a picture of Atlas. There's all kinds of scuttlebutt now that it was not an interstellar object or comet, but that it was an alien spacecraft. Ooh, yeah, that's what they say. There's all kinds of internet chatter to the point that SETI wrote a paper responding to claims that Atlas might be an alien spacecraft. There's a Harvard astronomer, Avi Loeb, who says there's a 30 to 40% chance that this object is not natural in origin. They are addressing the concerns. This asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system, ATLAS, detects an object moving through the solar system on what they call an escape trajectory. They said follow-up observations soon confirmed we're looking at our third interstellar visitor, although it looks quite different from the previous two. They said it's an interesting object, perhaps from an earlier age of the universe and a different part of the galaxy. And even spacecraft around Mars and Jupiter are getting in on the action of observing it. So, scientists are not the ones that are saying this, but other people say there's a few suggestions that this object might not be natural at all. It's soon after it was discovered, and before they could take a proper look at it, this Harvard physicist, cosmologist, and astronomer, Avi Loeb, suggested in a paper that it could be an interstellar probe sent by an intelligent species, potentially with the goal of destroying the Earth. All right, Mr. Loeb. So he says that this is largely kind of a thought exercise and just fun to explore, even if it's likely not valid. So he says, well, what if this was an object that it was hostile? What if, you know, it becomes a threat to our civilization? And then they go on this thought exercise looking at what it is and whether there's any validity to those arguments. These are extraordinary claims. They require extraordinary evidence, which Mr. Loeb did not provide. Uh, and the scientists say this is all nonsense. No, they have pictures of this thing. Yeah, that it might be enjoyable in a sci-fi context, speaking of Star Trek, to extrapolate about the what ifs on this thing, but it's, they say, been less helpful for more conspiracy-minded citizens of Earth. The paper from SETI has not yet been peer-reviewed, but they do outline why it's likely a natural object. They say Loeb found the retrograde orbital plane of Atlas is quite near to some other type of elliptic, with 0.2% likelihood that this alignment is not just a coincidence. And that is not impossible. The alignment is not impossible for interstellar objects, even if statistically rare. The galactic disk, they write, which is where most stars are, nearly in line with the solar system's ecliptic plane, it's plausible that ISOs are thrown out of other systems and may naturally follow paths that are similar to these. And they go on with this, thought exercise. Interesting that they responded to the claims at all. Let's get to animals, because this is a big guy. This is a big fella. I hope I'm not harshing Albert's buzz for Friday Fabulous Florida, but this massive iguana was spotted roaming through a neighborhood in Daytona Beach, Florida. Locals were seeing him around the neighborhood, and they're like, that is a big ass iguana. So the Daytona Beach police responded very quickly to this unexpected visitor, and the police come out and they quote apprehend this massive lizard. It was hanging out right next to someone's air conditioning unit. It was trying to squeeze through a fence. And the officer says he's a healthy boy. They think this iguana was likely someone's escaped pet because of its size and distance from where iguanas are usually found in Florida. So anyone missing this massive iguana, you know where it is, right? This is kind of sweet. There is a kitty cat that's a store cat at Lowe's and kind of has the run of the place, really. I mean, it's the Lowe's cat living at a store in Virginia. But because it kind of runs around the store, it actually accidentally, Francine is her name, Francine accidentally made her way onto a distribution truck. Yikes. Stowaway on a truck to a distribution center headed to North Carolina. So employees at the Lowe's store in Richmond, Virginia said Francine is a beloved member of their team and also a bit of a local celebrity. She was a stray cat. She found her way into the store about 8 years ago, and she's been the kind of the mascot of this Lowe's store for the last 8 years. But she disappeared mid-September, Francine. And they figured out, okay, she went on to this truck that left the store and headed to a Lowe's distribution center in Garysburg, North Carolina, about 85 miles away. They were so worried about her that they put up a thermal drone searching around the distribution center, but there was no sight of Francine until her face was spotted on a security camera on October 4th. The manager of the Virginia Lowe's said, I can't describe the feeling when we realized it was her. We all just lit up. They set out some humane traps, and Francine was captured on Sunday night. And then a store associate drove to Garysburg to pick Francine up and bring her back to her flagship store. They're asking the public to give her a few days to rest and recover from her adventure before they drop by and see Francine. They said from the start, we knew we'd do whatever it took to bring Francine home. She's part of who we are there. So Francine, beloved by the folks at Lowe's. It's a sweet story. Somebody, and I just don't think that these creatures should be kept as pets. Sorry, that's the iguana. Here's the monkey. There's a spider monkey. Somebody kept it, has it as a pet, but it broke free. Unfortunately, the South Carolina town clerk worked with the mayor of Casey Hill, Uteaville in Orangeburg County, South Carolina, to capture the spider monkey that was seen running loose through the town. The town clerk said she was helping out at the Crappie Classic and Fall Fest when she heard rumors of a monkey running loose through the town. And then pictures started to be posted to social media of this monkey. So the town clerk hooks up with the mayor and his wife, and the three of them go to where the monkey was last seen near a restaurant. Sure enough, they said, there she was hanging onto the back of a vehicle. You can see here in the picture next to the barber shop. The monkey was dragging her own leash, headed toward the First National Bank of South Carolina. She was apparently hollering. You could tell that this monkey was really scared. So the clerk decides to try an experiment. She puts her cup of hot coffee on the ground, she removes the lid, and she takes a step back. And the monkey came over to investigate the beverage, and that allowed the woman to step on the leash, and the monkey was claimed shortly after by a woman who identified it as her pet named Ava. So this is Ava the monkey. I hate that Ava is kept as a pet at all, but spider monkeys are native to the forests of Central and South America. They're currently legal to own in South Carolina without a permit. Currently, though, there's a new bill filed in the current legislative session that would require all primate pets in the state to be registered. So, yeah, they need to do a better job with that. I just don't know why people need to have monkeys in their house. But okay, they got her with a cup of hot coffee. Ava is back with her person. This is kind of feels a little festive. This is a story about, not the Haunted Mansion. This one, although I have a story about the Haunted Mansion, clearly. This one is about a record-setting Halloween event. Kind of gets you in the spirit. Spooky. This man in Kentucky did something that got him a Guinness World Record. He is a guy that goes all out for Halloween. I mean, this is his normal deal. And now he wants this Guinness World Record. He lives in Cold Springs, Kentucky. He calls himself Halloween Herm. And he's been decorating his house for decades for Halloween. He calls it, well, the most recent one, Dead Springs Cemetery. He said this whole thing started as a tribute to his mom, whose Halloween displays were always the talk of the town when he was growing up. And she died in 1999. And the day she passed, August 18th, is the day they always start setting up for Halloween in her memory. So this year's display, which is also a fundraiser for a children's advocacy center in northern Kentucky, features new additions, including a Taylor Swift skeleton and a tribute to the Cincinnati Reds playoff run. Herm says it's not just a Halloween display, it's a living story that people just will not forget. So Halloween Herm, now in the process of applying to Guinness World Records to get his Halloween display into the record books. He said, we discovered there are no records for the amount of props in a Halloween display, and we have over 300. So the record is coming in. Very cool. It's amazing what they have done. Just amazing. I have the story. Maybe we'll play the story to get you in the Halloween mood. Hold on, I can share the screen. And here it is. And I'll take down the skeleton. Where's the skeleton? Oh, there's the skeleton. Okay, so here's the story.
Trick-or-treaters, and there's a home in northern Kentucky that's actually trying to set a world record with their display. Alexis Martin is there right in front of the home right now. All right, so it's not spooky during the day, but what's it look like?
So right now I'm at this home on Village Green Drive in Cold Springs. And you're right, Trisha, it's not as spooky yet, but you're about to see what it looks like at night. This is one of a kind, incredible. Today I got to talk to the man behind it all, Halloween Herm. And he tells me not only is he trying to set that world record, but he's also trying to raise money for kids here in Kentucky.
Every year we aspire to get bigger and greater as we continue to tell our story and just try to spread joy.
For decades, a Cold Springs family has been putting on a massive Halloween show for the whole community. Halloween Herm, who creates the display, says his mom started it all when he was just a little boy.
We lost her in '99 to cancer. So the day she passed, August 18th, is the day we usually start setting up in her memory.
The display is called Dead Springs Cemetery, and each year, Halloween Herm picks a different charity to support. He puts out a donation bin for visitors who want to contribute. This year, he's working with Brett Rushman to raise funds for the Northern Kentucky Children's Advocacy Center.
We need more positivity for children. So any way that we can help them grow up in a better environment is what we want to do.
While the display works to raise money, Halloween Herm has also reached out to the Guinness Book of World Records, hoping his home could be the first of its kind to win a world record.
We discovered that there's no record for the amount of props in a Halloween display. So we have over 300. So we thought it was an interesting factoid, and fingers crossed we'll know sometime in 2026.
Halloween Herm says he wants the decorations to have a deeper meaning for people. The display changes throughout the season, and he recently added a tribute to Taylor Swift and
So there you go. Halloween Herm and his big display. It's so funny how the reporter on that story took it so seriously, like a real news story, instead of having so much more fun with it. But okay. It's still an interesting story. Let's go to the next creepy story. This actually is really sad, although what a way to go. The picture I'm showing you is of the haunted mansion at Disneyland. And I don't know if you saw the story, but there's a woman who went on the ride and then died, likely not having anything to do with the ride. This woman in her 60s was found unresponsive after going on the haunted mansion attraction at Disneyland on Monday night. They had to call the Anaheim Fire and Rescue team to the park at about 6:30 p.m. on reports of an unresponsive guest who had just finished riding the haunted mansion. The Disneyland security personnel did CPR until paramedics arrived, took this woman to the hospital where she was later pronounced dead. The cause of death, undetermined. They say there's no indication of any operating issue with the ride, which reopened very soon after this. So it doesn't look like there's any type of connection, maybe a medical incident at the park. Yeah, it's sad, and it comes right after the word of a man dying on the Stardust Racers roller coaster at Epic Universal, which is Universal's new theme park that opened in May. So kind of creepy though. That one good thing is, if the last thing you're ever going to do on this earth is go on the haunted mansion ride, what a way to check out. There is, speaking of trying to set a record, there is this lady. She is totally badass. Look at her go. She is trying to set a record for how many pull-ups you can do in 1 hour. 1 hour. I might be able to last 2 minutes, if that. This is an Australian bodybuilder. Her name is Jade, and she's 32. And she broke this Guinness World Record that had stood for nearly a decade. Jade did 733 pull-ups in 1 hour. That's more than 12 pull-ups a minute. I mean, in 1 minute, she's already, smoked me. I mean, I'm left way in the dust with her. The previous record was 725, also set by a woman from Australia, and Jade did 733. She said, I decided to start training for the pull-up world record because I liked the idea of doing something no one else has ever done, and I wanted to see what my mind and body were physically capable of. As she initially planned to go for the 24-hour version of this record, but while she was training for this, she suffered an injury, so she changed her plan and went to the hour-long record. She said, I did 3,500 pull-ups in 12 hours and tore my bicep. And that she said I had a partial tear of the bicep tendon and muscle, had to rest my arm for about 6 weeks before I was able to do any pull-ups again. So she settled on the 1 hour record so that she wouldn't reignite that injury. She said, I didn't have a set number that I was aiming for. I knew it was going to be tough to beat the previous record of 725, so I was just aiming to get a couple more reps than that. It was successful again, 733 in 1 hour. She said, I was really happy with the result. I gave it everything I had, and in that moment, she said, I don't think I could have done any better. So there you go. Way to go, Jade. I'm jealous of her six-pack. In this life, I will never have a belly that looks like that. Nope, not even a little bit. After this feat, Jade may be tempted to go to one of these places. It's a spa, a hydration spa. But now doctors are warning there's risks associated with IV hydration spas. These things are popping up all over the US. They offer you a very expensive vitamin infusion supposed to give you energy and detox you and give you some immune support. But medical experts say, wait a minute, the science does not back up those claims. So a team of researchers looked into this and published a study yesterday, or Monday rather, in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine. And they found that this IV hydration industry operates with just about no regulations, very little medical evidence to support the supposed health benefits here. The businesses are operating almost completely without evidence, according to the president of the Center for Science and Public Interest, who was part of the study. As a result, according to Dr. Peter Lurie, there's a real danger to customers. Now, this is a medical system that exists largely outside of conventional medicine. Of 50 states, about 32 have some kind of rule or policy related to IV hydration services. 4 of those, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Vermont, have comprehensive oversight. The rest do not. And doctors are saying this is a medical system that exists largely outside of conventional medicine. And Dr. Lurie says he's worried people are going to spend their money on these things without reason to expect benefits, and that there may be adverse side effects related as well: infection, allergic reactions, contamination, especially if IVs are given by untrained providers. The CEO of American Med Spa Association says a lot of the owners of these businesses might not even realize that they're practicing medicine, that they've talked to people who are surprised by that. They thought, I'm just doing an IV. It's different. It's just vitamins. But he says if you're putting a needle in someone's vein, that is 100% a medical practice. The study included this analysis of 255 clinic websites and a secret shopper investigation involving 87 randomly selected spas. More than half of the websites advertised IV treatments with very vague health claims, like using magnesium for headaches or glutathione to boost immunity. Only 2 sites cited scientific sources for their claims. None mentioned any risks, like the risk of infection, or not affection. You have affection. The risk of infection or allergic reaction. So the researchers went in and they posed as customers. More than 85% of clinics that they went to recommended specific IV cocktails for symptoms like fatigue or colds, and did not ask about medical history. 1 in 4 clinics required a medical consultation beforehand, and fewer than 25% of clinics warned about the possible side effects. The FDA has previously issued warnings about med spa injections that are supposed to dissolve fat. These injections can leave scarring and cause infection. So this is a whole industry that needs to have regulation and oversight. You don't just let some Joe Blow put an IV in your arm with God knows what's really in there. Come on now, people. Let's think. It is time for, speaking of thinking, time to think, because it is Trivia Thursday after party style. Who's ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's do it. Okay, I'm going into the chat. Got you. Teacher Lori, regarding that last topic, says you need to do your research and find scientific papers on PubMed and studies on humans. Blue Spark says blood draws have definitely changed. Can barely feel anything now. That's good. Very good. Karen says I'm never ready. Trivia time. All right, here we go. I have some Viking trivia that I'm excited to offer you. The first question: what is a berserker in Viking lore? What is a berserker? Is it a slave? Is it a frenzied warrior? Is it a poet? What is a berserker? See if you know the answer. Oh no, Vikings. Gotta love the Vikings. It is a. See who got it first? It is a warrior, says Calvin Wong. Well done. Yeah. Rev P has warrior. Deidre says an attack warrior. Karen says warrior. So does Sandy and Linda. Frenzied warrior. JT has warrior. SJ, Eileen, Maud, Nullifidian, John W. It is a frenzied warrior. The next question. What event marked the beginning of the Viking Age? Was it the death of Charlemagne, the founding of Iceland, the sack of Rome, or the raid on Lindisfarne? What event marked the beginning of the Viking Age? The death of Charlemagne, the founding of Iceland, the sack of Rome, or the raid on Lindisfarne? I have an Iceland, a number 2, which would have been the founding of Iceland. Okay. I have a raid, and that would be the correct answer. The 793 raid on a monastery at Lindisfarne in England is considered the start of the Viking Age. So Deidre gets it right. Yeah. So does Rev P. So does John W. So does Tammy and Sandy. Nice. Heather gets it. Yeah, Sandy as well. The discovery of lutefisk. No, gross, right? Well done. Love it. Next question. Which god was considered the All-Father in Norse mythology? Thor, Frey, Loki, or Odin? What god was considered the All-Father in Norse mythology? Thor, Frey, Loki, or Odin? You guys probably didn't need me to read the multiple choice on this one, huh? The answer is Odin. John Watson has it. So does Gordon. So does Donald the Maine Coon, John Slade, Rev P, Karen C, Maud has it, Nullifidian, Heather has it, Teacher Lori, SJ, Eileen, Calvin. Yeah, Odin is the answer. Next question. What was the name of the Viking land in present-day France? What was the name of the Viking land in present-day France? Was it Normandy, Flanders, Aquitaine, or Brittany? The name of Viking land in present-day France. Normandy, Flanders, Aquitaine, or Brittany? What say you? The right answer is Normandy, and Deidre has it, because apparently Normandy was settled by Norsemen and named after them. Northmen, Normandy, Norman, for North. Well done. Good job. Deidre has it, and Gordon has it, and Rev P as well, and Sandy, Eileen, Tammy has it. Oh, sleeping during world history. Oh no. Maud has it. So does Calvin, and Heather, and SJ, and John S. Good job. Yeah, Deidre says Normandy means Northland. Well done. Next question. What was a thing in Viking society? A thing. Was a thing a burial site, a god, a weapon, or a legal assembly? A thing. That was the word. A burial site, a god, a weapon, a legal assembly. What was a thing in Viking society? Going in. A doohicker. Deidre, up on her Viking trivia, knows it was a legal assembly. She is correct. 'Twas a legal assembly. Rev P says legal assembly. So does Eileen. You know, we learn something new every day, right? Maud has it. Nullifidian has it. Tammy has it. Well done. Anel has it. Hi, Anel. Yeah. So here's the answer. A thing was a governing assembly where laws were made and disputes were settled. They called it a thing. What modern country was not part of the Viking homelands? What modern country was not part of the Viking homelands? Denmark, Sweden, Norway, or Finland? Not part of the Viking homelands. Denmark, Sweden, Norway, or Finland? What do you think? Yeah, I always guess. Alabama. I got a Denmark. I got a Denmark. I got a Denmark. I got a Finland. Finland is the correct answer. Finland was not considered part of the Viking core lands during the Viking Age. No. Sandy says Finland. SJ Lola says Finland. Anel has Finland. Rev P has Finland. So does John Watson. And teacher Lori. Well done. Oh, and Tammy has Finland as well. Yeah. Finland is correct. Which famous English king fought against Viking invasions? Which famous English king fought against Viking invasions? Was it Edward the Confessor, Henry II, Richard the Lionheart, or Alfred the Great? Which famous English king fought against the Viking invasions? Edward the Confessor, Henry II, Richard the Lionheart, Alfred the Great. Let's see what we got. George Santos. No. Alfred, says Rev P. Oh, I think, yeah, Rev P. Alfred. Egbert or Alfred. That is correct. Alfred the Great is known for defending England against Viking incursions. Alfred the Great. Alfred the Great. Eileen has it as well. So does Karen and Tammy and Anel. Anel's killing it on the Viking trivia. Yeah. Somebody majored in world history. Next question. What is the name of the Viking heaven? I'm not going to give you the choices, the multiple choices on this one, because you guys should know this one. I think. Maybe it's just because this is like the only one of the group that I would get right. So I assume that it's the easiest one that means you would probably know it. What is the name of Viking heaven? Yeah, you guys got it. It is Valhalla. And Donald the Maine Coon has it. John Watson says Alfred is my great times 10 grandfather. That's cool. That's awesome. Donald says Valhalla, and Donald is correct. Harry, Rev P. Annelle says I'm Swedish, so of course she knows the Viking history, right? Deidre has it. Nullifidian has it. Heather has it. Finn has it. So does Eileen and Karen, teacher Lori, Calvin, Annelle. Yeah. SJ, Sandy. Everybody has this one. Good. Who was Leif Erikson? Who was Leif Erikson? Was he a Christian missionary? Was he a Viking god? Was he a Norse explorer? Or was he a Viking king? Christian missionary. That's offensive, really. A Viking god, Norse explorer, or a Viking king? Who was Leif Erikson? Sandy says Norse explorer. Let me go back a little bit because I think that there were other answers first. Deidre says a rock star. A famous explorer, says Rev P. I think that's the first one. Quarterback for the Vikings. Good job, Harry. Rev P says famous explorer. And the answer is a Norse explorer. Leif Erikson is believed to be the first European to set foot in North America, actually. Yeah. So, Leif Erikson, Norse explorer. As in addition to Rev P, SJ Lola has explorers. So does Teacher Lori and Karen C. And he was in a boy band. No, not that Leif Erikson. Leif Garrett. Yeah, Norse explorer, says Rev P and Sandy. Blue Spark has explorers. So does Nullifidian, Tammy, Anel, Calvin, Eileen. Good job. Viking explorer, indeed. Which of these countries did the Vikings not reach? Which of these countries did the Vikings not reach? Canada, China, Russia, or Spain? Where did the Vikings not go? Canada, China, Russia, Spain. I'm going to the chat to see what the answer is. Whether you have it again. And the answer is China. Yeah. Karen C, I think, first to the punch on this one, right? China. Rev P has China as well. So does John Watson, Nullifidian, Trevor, Eileen, Anel, John, Tammy. Rhonda has China. Teacher has China. Well done. Deidre wants to know what's our new topic. Are you saying you're not liking the Viking trivia? Come on. What was the primary occupation of most Vikings? The primary occupation of most Vikings. I'll wrap it up soon, Deidre, I promise. They were farmers. As a matter of fact, let's see who has that for the answer. They were farmers, says Rev P. That is correct. They were farmers. They were beard farmers. They were farmers, says Teacher Lori. That is correct. So John Watson has it as well. Plunderers, says Phineas. Farming when not raiding, says Anel. This is the truth. All right. And the last question. How about this one? What was the writing system that the Vikings used? Runes, Greek, Latin, Cyrillic. What writing system did the Vikings use? Runes, Greek, Latin, or Cyrillic? First answer, the correct answer. John Watson says, I thought I had John Watson in there first. Cursive, says Trevor. I think it might be different on my screen, but well done, Gordon. Good job. Runes, says John Watson. That is correct. Karen also has runes. So does Rev, Nullifidian, Tammy, Eileen, Calvin, Deidre, Heather. Well done. It is runes. All right, we switch to the next one. This topic is movie questions. Who played Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate. Do you remember what actress played Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate? That was who? No. It was an older lady, says Phineas. Yes, it was an older lady. It was not Kathleen Turner or Lauren Bacall, but it was Anne Bancroft. Teacher Lori has it. So does Tammy. S.J. Lola has it. Eileen has it. Calvin has it. Karen has it. Yep. That woman whose name I can't remember, says John. Anne Bancroft is the answer. The next question. For what movie did Tom Hanks score his first Academy Award nomination? Not the award, the nomination. For what movie did Tom Hanks score his first Academy Award nomination? The nerve. Sandy says customers just showed up at my office right in the middle of trivia. Rude. The answer is Big. Nullifidian has it. Yes, he does. So does Bosom Buddies. That was a TV show. John Slade also has Big. So does Rev P. Angel in the Bay Area. Karen Cooper. Well done. S.J. Lola has it as well. You got it. Next question. What 1927 musical was the first talkie? What 1927 musical was the first talkie? Yeah, you need an out to lunch sign, Sandy. Out to trivia. It was indeed the jazz singer Trevor Starr in Hollywood has it. Karen Cooper has it. So does Annelle, the jazz singer, she says. The jazz singer says Blue Spark. Angel in the Bay Area. Just about. You knew it was something jazzy jazz, right? Yeah. That's correct. Sandy's correct as well. S.J. Lola has it. Good job. All right. Next question. This one. We should all know this one. What is the name of the skyscraper in Die Hard? What is the name of the skyscraper in Die Hard? Ooh, Blue Spark calling out Trevor Starr in Hollywood. Noka? No. Nakatomi, says John Slade. Yeah, that's Nakatomi Plaza. Nakatomi Plaza, says Rev P. No, Heather. Your assignment is to watch the first Die Hard. So noted. Not Trump Tower. Nakatomi Plaza. Yeah. I thought that one was easy. S.J. Lola has it. Calvin Wong has it. B of A. No. That's your homework assignment, Heather. And Sandy. The Christmas movie. That's right. Okay. No, it's based, I think, in LA, right? Is that right? I think so. Okay, next question. What flavor of Pop-Tart does Buddy the Elf use in his spaghetti in Elf? What flavor of Pop-Tart does Buddy the Elf use in his spaghetti in Elf? Kind of excited to watch that movie again. We're getting to that time of year. I love when time for the Christmas movies again. It was not strawberry. No idea, says Phineas. It was not berry flavored. It was indeed chocolate. It was a chocolate Pop-Tart that he used on his spaghetti. What pop vocal group performs at the wedding in Bridesmaids, the movie Bridesmaids? What pop vocal group performs at the wedding in Bridesmaids? You remember? You think Bridesmaids is an unwatchable movie? Wilson Phillips, says Heather. She's correct. It was Wilson Phillips. Yeah. Well done. All right. Next movie question. What real life, on again, off again Hollywood power couple starred in the film Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? What Hollywood power couple starred in the film Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? It was. Yeah, you guys got it. Richard Burton, says Phineas. I'll give it to Karen. She says Elizabeth Taylor and Burton. That's right. Yvonne says Taylor and Burton. SJ says Burton and Taylor. Liz and Dick, says Eileen. That is correct. Taylor and Burton, says Teacher Lori. And Tammy and Angel. Nice. Yep. Nullifidian, John Slade. Good job. You can get half credit. Oh, I will allow it. Absolutely. Is that okay, Teacher Lori? Do we give half credit? I think we do. We can give half credit. I can see it in red pen at the top of your paper right now. And that, my friends, is Trivia Thursday. Thank you for playing Viking trivia and movie trivia with me. As always, if you have a topic that you would like us to explore, please email me. It is Kim@theafterparty.live. Kim@theafterparty.live. You can always get a hold of me. Have somewhere we want to travel together. Have somewhere on trivia on Travel Tuesday. Have some really cool waterfalls like Teacher Lori sent and Nullifidian has sent and Ricky has sent recently. Send them on in. Have some cool caves for Monday. Send it my way. Thank you. Kim@theafterparty.live. Love hearing from you. I hope you have a great couple of hours because at 5 p.m. Pacific, we will embark on yet another fantastic voyage here on YouTube with the Nikki Maduro Show. It is on at 5 p.m. on Thursdays. And it is cocktails, mocktails, politics, and it is so much fun. So please join us. Set an alarm on your phone so that you remember to pop over. I'll be setting an alarm as well. The Nikki Maduro Show, 5 p.m. Pacific here on YouTube. So enjoy a few hours and I'll meet you right back here on the YouTube. Thank you to everyone who contributes stories, your time that you spend with us during this hour, spending it together, and financial contributions to the show as well. You guys are awesome and you make it all work. So thank you for that. All right. See you in a couple hours. For now, bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.